Okay, everybody, welcome to the third week of the November Tuesday Swiss. My opponent initially was supposed to be Arya Tirani Munsori, and they've been switching pairings on me like every week for the last few weeks, so I genuinely did not do any prep. I did watch the video that I had playing him before, and I saw the line that we played. I know that he made a comment after that, and I figured that he would maybe mix it up. But I've been working on a few other openings. I've really been trying hard to get better with black. So, I've been working a lot more on like Philidor stuff. I've been working on Scandinavian stuff. I've been going back to the French stuff. I've been doing more work with the perk, or the pirk, or whatever you pronounce it. Anyway, I really feel quite competent and confident with like a bunch of openings now. So, I wasn't sure what I was even going to play against Arya. However, not to my surprise, when I arrived at the club, my opponent got mixed and matched, and lo and behold, I was matched against Justin Guerra. Justin and I have now played, this is our third time entering this game. We were 1-1 in Classical. He has the edge and blitz on me. But funny enough, I made a video last week. I had free time. I thought it'd be fun. I didn't actually post it. I still might. But I basically did a power rankings of the Boylston Chess Club. Literally, I did a whole power rankings. I had like the top tier where I think they're significant favorites, the next tier where they're like small favorites, and then the next tier that I thought are very evenly matched opponents. And wouldn't you know it, in my own power rankings, I have Justin as an equally matched opponent. I think that's pretty fair. So when I was changed from Arya, who I do think I have a decent advantage against, to Justin, I thought, well, the game is probably going to be a little bit harder. And that's not a problem. By the way, I boiled water. I probably should have waited for the water to boil and then made the video, but there's going to be about a minute of dead air. So, be right back. All right, that sound you hear, my friends, is I boiled tea, or rather water, and I just poured some lemon honey tea. I've been on a little bit of a tea kick, to be completely honest. Anyway, by the way, you're all probably wondering why the hell is E3, D5 on the board? And yeah, so my opponent got switched, and let me paint the scene. So Justin, I feel like I've played him enough times. I know that he's like tuned in to different games. He's done prep. He's definitely watched some videos. I don't think he's watched all of them. I'm assuming he's going to watch this one, but maybe he won't. Maybe he won't watch it. I don't know. But if he watches it, hey, Justin. Yeah, the biggest challenge for this game entering was I looked at the board, and the board I had didn't have any coordinates. I was like, oh, shit. And all along the row where we played, none of the boards had coordinates either. Normally, I've been like, do you mind if we switch to boards with coordinates? And the reason why is it makes writing the notation so much easier. And it's not something I really want to deal with. Funny enough, my notation was awful, and I had to take a picture of Justin's notes and then re-scribe them on a sheet of paper. So this is the only time I have one game is on two pieces of paper, because my initial writings, where there are no coordinates, everything is like mirrored and just wrong, which is kind of funny. I rewrote it, I think, so when I go over the game, I think it'll be accurate, but if there are any mistakes, it's because of my transcribing, for sure, rather than any, chess ability. So Justin sits at the board. Most people, when it's like, on your mark, it's set, go, shake your hands, start your clock, people just like bang out their moves. Justin sat there thinking for like a few minutes, and I don't know if he was trying to game it. He may have been. He kind of thinks like that sometimes. But I actually thought that he genuinely wasn't sure what to play against me because, again, he wasn't able to do any prep. He kind of knows what I play for the most part. And I'm assuming, and I actually took this as a massive sign of respect, to be honest. He plays E3. I figured he played E3 because he kind of knows that I'm like booked up in a bunch of openings. And the sad reality is I really am. I've spent a lot of time on opening stuff. I find it very fun and enjoyable. Not that I am like this opening wizard. I really am not. It's not like I can go like 12 lines deep. Well, I actually can go 12 lines deep, or 12 moves deep on a few variations. But, yeah, for my skill level, that right now we're both in the 1500s. It's probably the strongest part of my game. So him taking me out of what I think is probably the strongest part of my game is probably good strategy, probably good match strategy. So I actually appreciated that. Online, E3 is known as the Wandkrieg opening, I think. It's what it says here on chess.com. I don't know if it has another name. All I know is I've played this move myself like 1% of my games. For a while in Blitz, I went through like a madman phase where I just was trying any random garbage. I didn't really want to do any openings. I just wanted to like play, and I experimented a lot, which was interesting. And then against me, at most 1% of opponents play it. And even though I play a lot of Bullet and Blitz, this month alone, I've probably played 100 games or something, probably 200 games to be honest. So I probably played two E3 openings against me or so in the last month. But it's not like I've gone over those games. I don't go over all my games online. I really don't. Maybe I should more often. But yeah, when he played E3, I said, oh shit, I really don't know what I'm supposed to do. I know it's not like a great opening, but I also know it's not a trash opening. It's not like, the Grog, I believe. The Grob, not the Grog. Like B4 stuff. Openings that are, or like, again, like an F4 opening. Things like that I know are like bad openings. I do know that E3 still, I mean, as you can tell by the computer, it still has white as a slight favorite. So, like, white still retains a white advantage. So it's not like it's a terrible opening where I should just be like, oh, I should be immediately better. How am I not winning the game on move 3? So what I did is when he played this, I took like a moment and I said, all right, let's pretend I'm white and reverse the board and just make natural white openings where I'm like a tempi behind. And that's what I did. That's how I played the first few moves, thinking it's probably got to be close to theory. And even if it's not, it probably won't be too bad. And I also kind of was banking that Justin kind of played this more because I don't know what I'm doing rather than he knows what he's doing. And hopefully this isn't like throwing shade. It's not. I like Justin. I think he's a good player. But I think based on what happened in the opening, it's not like he really knew what he was doing either with E3. So it's kind of a gamble choice for him. I think I told in the videos that I've been working as white with one Knight C3, which is a very unusual opening. And I'm not playing it until I am ready with it, and I will have tricks up my sleeve. So not only will I expect opponents not to know what to do with it, but I actually will know a thing or two. So that's kind of how I'm approaching things. Anyway, he now plays D4, and we're kind of getting like a D4 E3 opening, which as white is not really what I play. I like to go for like the C4 stuff. But again, I just reversed it, pretended, all right, what would I do? What would be a natural move for me? And yeah, and so I play Knight F6. And good. It's solid. It's up there. Figuring I'm, he's not pushing. I might have a natural outpost on E4, supporting this pawn. I want to get my bishop into the game, etc., etc. Yeah, I was kind of guessing, and he again, Justin was moving very fast, and I don't know why. He plays C3. Which I felt like he also should just play C4, and we would kind of get like a Queen's Gambit, and we would have transposed into a line that I actually play as white, something that I'm familiar with and comfortable with, and I would have gone into that. But he didn't do this, and when he kind of is giving me the spatial advantage, as you can tell, he's only moved these two E and C pawns to the third row. I'm gladly taking it. It means that black enjoys a small space advantage is probably a little bit better. And when he does this, I've seen this kind of pawn structure as when I'm white and they're black a lot. And I don't know what the name of it is. I don't know, it's not a Grunfeld. Is it like I'm totally blanking on the word, the opening. But I've been playing, semi-Slav. It's a Slav. And I've been playing against a lot of Slav openings. So again, I just kind of like tried to pretend that I was white this game. And I thought, what would I do against this as white? And I found probably, well, maybe it's not the best move. It's one of the best moves. And pretty quickly I played bishop f5. And my idea is I want to basically control the e4 square. I want to open it up when I'm ready. I was thinking about like a c5 break, and then I thought to myself, okay, that mirrors like a French defense where my bishop is out. So it's just like it's like an improved version of a French defense that I'm very comfortable with. And I thought the natural moves made sense. Like I could put my knight here, blocking any checks, and supporting either c5 or e5, either which I want to break into the center. And just have like a good game, and then get ready to castle. It is worth noting he's moved his pawns. He is not close to castling. I've developed my minor pieces, and I felt pretty comfortable. So yeah. Then Justin shocks me and he plays f4. And at this point, and again, I'm not throwing shade because in my power rankings, I mean that I made last week, I have Justin pretty solidly as a good opponent against me. Yeah, you guys can take a look at my own power rankings. Maybe I will publish that video. I don't know. I made it like a 20-minute video of like power rankings, and then I watched it back and I said, this is kind of stupid. Like, it's mostly just like people's ratings with like my own experience with them and like, plus or minus a little bit. So not exactly, that wonderful power rankings. Plus, some people probably played good games against me. Some people probably played bad games against me. Anyway, the problem with this move of F4 is he's creating, and again, maybe this is the teachable moment. I know this is mostly for my own analysis, but he's creating what's known as a hole. Now, E4, he never will have a pawn to attack it. So if I could ever stick a piece on E4, it's there for the game. It's what you really want to avoid unless you're getting something back in return. Moreover, his E-pawn, this one, is a backward pawn. There's no pawn that can support it. So if I can ever, attack it, it's a real threat. So from a positional perspective, I know F4 had to be a terrible move. The problem was I needed to figure out, A, how I could actually make use of it, attack it, and B, was he gaining anything while giving himself a weakness? Sometimes you take risks, you expose yourself to a weakness, but you get something back in turn. The truth is, he was playing very, very quickly. I couldn't really figure out what his plan was. I was kind of worried about different bishop checks. I was considering playing a6 here. It is a good move. I thought it was a nice prophylactic move. And then I thought to myself, all right, clearly this kills off my e5 ideas because he's kind of gripping the middle of the board there. Why not play for c5 and I can crack at the center of the board from the outside, again, like an improved French defense. And I thought, all right, well, is there anything wrong with playing e6 here, opening my bishop and allowing e5 to be pushed? I thought, not really. And I thought, well, what about c5 immediately? And I didn't like different moves, like bring his queen out, checks, I'd have to swing back. I thought it would get kind of tactical, and given he already had a positional weakness, I wanted to play on that weakness. So I played what I thought was, okay, it actually is the best move as well. All right, the most solid move, I just play e6. And in my mind, I'm like, all right, I've got a pretty strong pawn chain. I'm going to stick a piece here. My idea would be to move my knight to d7. I'll block any checks that way. And then if I can ever land a piece on e5, I can then support it on f6. And again, positionally, it felt pretty good. Now, it's never a good sign if you're white and you're already down 0.7 or so from the opening. It means you have played a very bad opening, I will be honest. All right, Justin then plays knight f3, which is a natural move. His idea is to make use of the e5. Now, the big difference, and this is again, now I'm putting on my teacher hat, not that I'm an expert, hardly. You guys can see my rating, it's in the 1500s. It's solid and pretty good, but far from spectacular. What is the difference in this position? Well, the difference in this position is I still have my f1, I haven't moved it. So at a certain point, and this is what I was always banking on, I can kick his knight with a well-timed f6. And this, again, is positions that are very comfortable for me, that are French defense-esque, where you're looking for f6 breaks anyway. And I was thinking, if I can kick his knight, and I can stick mine, or even better, a wooden shield, on e4, black has to be better. I've got the space advantage, I've got the more active pieces, and I'll actually even win tempi on my opponent, so I'll probably even be ahead in development. So I was really liking my position. I was not spending that much time on all my moves. I thought about what I should be doing here, and again, I thought that I was supposed to play my knight out first to support this push, also block any checks in case there were any tactics, checking and then swinging on through with a pawn or something. If I did play c5 and he takes and then I take, he might have some interesting checks. I wasn't sure. I just didn't want to get into any of those madnesses. So I just play what I think is a very simple kind of gripping move. Knight b d7. Good, the computer gives me an excellent. They like it. They like my plan. I'm just trying to, again, secure these two squares. If he plays the knight here, and this is very important, I made this calculation. I knew that I should never take. If I took and he takes, then I'll fix his weakness, and all of a sudden he'll have a very strong pawn chain. He'll have grip on the center, and he'll have the space advantage, and I'll have a shitty bishop. I'll never get this bishop in the game. So I knew the one thing that I could not do is trade in that spot. So let's see what happens. My man plays bishop e2. It's not a bad move. He's just trying to get his pieces around his king. He obviously doesn't want to go to d3. I probably would just trade, probably. Because I don't want him, again, taking away the e4 square or trying to play e4 himself. Actually, I would probably just stick a knight onto e4 at that point and be pretty happy with the wooden shield. I'm not sure what I would do. I'd probably stick a knight there so I can put the other knight there to support it, because then if he even brings his knight out, my piece is living there for perpetuity, if you will. When he plays bishop e2, I thought about my moves. Looks like I played a good one. And I thought this was the time to break with c5, attack into the center of the board. I play c5. I'm pretty happy with it, my opening. I don't know this opening at all, but it just kind of, I backdoored into what I thought was a very French, but better French position. And it seems like that is good for black. So that's kind of what I was banking on, those fundamentals. I guess there is somebody who said if you get into uncharted waters, but you have play positions like that, there's a lot of similarities that you can bring. For the record, in this position, I want to just highlight, I was always considering moves like g4. It doesn't work here, but like, h3, g4 ideas, because one little issue is I can never retreat back. The e6 pawn is blocking it. So I wanted to be aware that I can't trap my piece, my bishop. So I was always considering trading off on the knight on b1. My thinking is it's even harder for him to trade the knight for the knight. And I was looking at those lines during this time. And at this point, I know 6 minutes in, the shock of him playing e3, I spent like 12 minutes at this point, and he'd only spent like 3 or 4. So Justin was up on time for most of this game, but I wasn't ever really all that low. So again, I spent some time, but it's not like I went deep in the tank trying to solve the mysteries of e3, because I most assuredly did not do that. All right, I break with c5. Obviously, if he takes, I think that's pretty bad for him. I'm able to just develop my bishop. I'm immediately attacking the e3 pawn. I didn't expect him to take. My idea is I would take. Again, it weakens and then it softens up the f pawn. Again, there's always a plus or minus, mostly, as long as you're not making bad moves. He just looks at the position. He kind of like shrugged. Justin's very casual in his moves. He kind of just shrugged and castled. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. The rook isn't really going anywhere because the f-pawn is living there, but it does, in some lines, bring another defender to the f-pawn. Like if I'm able to, again, go takes, that has another defender, which is fine. So we reached this position, move 7, and I thought, all right, I need to get my bishop into the game, and I didn't want to basically waste a tempo where I play my bishop to d6, which is where it felt like it belonged, which is the third best move. They like rook c8. I thought it would be better to just trade first and then play the bishop, because then he wouldn't be able to take and I'd have to retake. Although I think that would probably be fine for me. I just didn't want to lose a tempi. I knew that my rook probably belonged on c8, but I thought that it was more appropriate. I should just take. I should just break towards the center. It felt pretty decent. It's not the best move. I give up a little bit of my advantage. Computer does not like that. This was a move I was considering, rook c8 for the record, but I thought that I could take and then move rook c8 anyway. So again, this is the kind of thing, it's a very slight difference, where I don't really understand why it's better to do it in this order, because now I am actually threatening to take the half-open file, but I'm sure there's a good reason for it, but it's going to escape the purviews of this video. I don't think that there's a reason for us to get into it. Anyway, he has a big choice between e takes or c takes. They're pretty equal. And he goes e takes. He wants to get rid of the backwards pawn there. I think that makes a lot of sense. Very quickly, I played bishop d6. I want to complete my development. Looks like it's one of the best moves in this position, so that's nice. In fact, the computer says the best move. Some lines I was considering I would gang up on the f pawn. Technically, this is giving me a little bit more grip over e5, although not now, because again, if he flings it in there, I do not want to trade, because then I'm giving him exactly what he wants, and his opening does not deserve that. More importantly, I'm just trying to move my bishop a spot where I can castle. It seemed a little bit more active on d6. Obviously, I can't bring it to c5 or b4 or a3. So that was my reasoning. And at this point, although I'm considering a few other moves, I'm definitely playing more on memory and feel than any strict calculation. I'm not hard calculating various moves here. I most certainly am not. Anyway, Justin flings knight e5, which is the best move in the position, something I'm always aware of. And when he plays it here, this was the first time in the game I did a deep think. So I had spent, again, I think I mentioned 12 or 13 minutes at this point. Justin spent 5 minutes at most. And when he flings his knight into e5, it was something I was always aware of. It's kind of taking away my long-term threat in the f-pawn. I knew that my plan would be, at this point, to stick a piece on e4. Doesn't matter which one. I love the outpost of the knight. I also love the wooden shield. I wanted to be aware of various pawn storms here to trap the bishop. And eventually I would play the f6, not even break, just f6, to eject his knight. So I needed to think about how I'm supposed to do this in what order. And I also had to think, all right, does he have tactics? If I castle, am I castling to my doom? Am am I fucking myself by stuffing it in there and then him having like a fast attack? And I thought to myself, and I spent, and this was the first time I really started thinking of it. I said, all right, do I want my rook here? No, I should probably respond. He's like pushing in the middle. I want to prepare my idea of getting my pieces in the middle. Let's get my king safe. And I thought of all the ways he could bring his pieces into attack. Again, I kept calculating g4 ideas. And what I calculated is if I don't fuck with the position immediately, for example, if I castle, which, by the way, I castled, it looks like it's the second best move, so they like h6 first for whatever reason. I don't fully understand why. I don't get it. I guess if he ever takes this does not have, like, you know, a potential pin or something. I don't know. I don't understand. It's not popping up for that. Anyway, yeah, I deduced that castling was safe. It is, in fact, safe. It is the natural point. It's where I want my king. Yeah, and I'll do my calculations. I calculated from this point. If I castle and he thrusts forth with a pawn, as you can tell, he's got 1, 2 defenders, 3, and I only have 1, so I have to move it. But I thought very simply, very calm, cool, and collected, I would just move it to e4. So I'll castle, because that's what I did. And I kept calculating g4 in this. G4 is the best move, by the way. It's what he should have done. Interesting. I was calculating both playing to e4 and taking on b1. The computer likes taking on b1. This was the move I was afraid of, for the record, g4. And it is the best move according to the computer, so I'm glad I was right to be afraid of it, but I didn't think it was like winning or good enough to prevent me from castling. All right, well, I'm tapping myself on the back because this was what I thought he should have played. Just kind of go all in on this, you know, this opening. He has me castled. He's already opened up his f-pawn. He should be playing g4 here, and I thought that that's what he was going to do. Let me show you the sample line that I calculated, and I want to see if it's any good. By the way, my tea seems as though it's calm enough to drink. He plays knight d2, by the way. And I think he does this to, like, try to prevent me from landing a piece on e4. But it doesn't really prevent a piece from e4. But I was worried about him going g4. And I was looking at both bishop takes as well as bishop to e4, which is the second best move. I think I did look at taking, but I was probably going to play bishop e4, which is the second best move. This is what I saw. And now they like knight d2. So the order here, because if he pushes g5, I bounce my knight out, I get suddenly scrunched, and then if he's able to take, I'd have to take with a pawn. So I think that's probably why that's good. So that's why h6 is good, because then when he plays g5, we go takes, f takes. They like, what? Knight takes on e5? Don't I lose a piece? Am I a dummy? Oh, I don't lose a piece. No, I do lose a piece, right? Oh, I didn't see this, obviously. Because then you're not losing the piece here because you can check. And actually, he's in a lot of trouble because of this bishop as well. So, okay. So I didn't see all that. Of course, I didn't see that. Here, they're saying d takes on e5. G takes on f5. This. And this is kind of a crazy position, right? The computer's saying something like, nope, that's just losing. What is the computer even saying here? Knight d7. And then he would trade on e4. I would take. And then if he goes f takes. They're even saying you can go king takes. All right, this is just wild. All right, well, I obviously didn't calculate all that. That's a very, very deep line. All I can say is the move I was worried about was g4. I looked at both bishop takes, and I actually was going to play the second best, which is bishop to e4. And I thought it would get kind of wild, but I was, living la vida loca. I was, thinking that this would be fine. And it looks like it actually teeters back to advantage for white, but all of it is moot, because I did that long think when I was in the castle position, because that was exactly the threat that I was worried about. And then he doesn't even play the move. And, when people do that, maybe it wasn't a wasted think, but I was like, damn, why did I spend all that time thinking about a move he didn't even play? So, yeah, all right. I then jumped knight e4, and to me this made sense. Again, I'm sticking to my positional plan of being able to play f6 to eject. If he trades, I get the classic wooden shield. It's like almost impossible to dislodge. If he then tries to threaten, I could then first play the knight. We could trade, stick the knight, and in my mind, I was clearly better because I'd have a space advantage. I'd have the stronger, what's known as a good knight, and I think his pawns would be slightly inferior. The 2 and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. I believe that's known as the Carlsbad structure, right? And it's generally better to have the 2 in that spot. So yeah, I was just like kind of banking on that stuff, kind of those ideals. Anyway, knight e4. Once I play knight e4, by the way, I think I mentioned this. I had to rewrite everything from the because everything was like inversed. I think my notation is correct now after I took a picture of Justin's notes. His were actually a little bit inaccurate at a certain point too, but we fight on. I didn't think he should trade. It actually is one of the better moves. I still was thinking he should be basically attacking me. Attack! With g4. And the computer does like the g4 idea. Here, I'll do what I played, what happened first. He takes. But I had to keep calculating. And the reason why I didn't think g4 worked is because I thought if he played g4, I was going to go with the tactical idea of knight takes. Yep. I told him this after the game, and he's like, no, it doesn't work. But I said, no, it does, because I'm attacking the rook. So he has to then take with the bishop, and then I land the wooden shield, and I play bishop e4. So this is what I calculated. So I was calculating, oh, the computer gives that a great move. So this is what I was calculating, and I thought that he'd be kind of like, honestly overextended with my like queen being able to come in, and at the right time, well, obviously not first, because I would lose the defense, but the right time basically take and drop his piece, or force it out if I don't want to bring my queen to h4. And this was the position I saw, and I thought that this was good for me, like comfortable. Not like winning or anything. It's 0.6. Yeah, just like I was pretty happy with how the game sort of went at this point. Nonetheless, he plays on move 11. Knight takes e4. I go bishop takes, of course, because I'm not going to take with a pawn. I don't want to trap my piece because it would allow g4, and then boom, I would lose my bishop for a pawn. Not ideal. Not necessarily losing, but pretty bad. And in this position, Justin, who really has not wasted much time, slams bishop to d3. And his thinking is, this is a hella strong piece. His bishop is not nearly as good. He wants to get rid of it. So it looks like the computer, I did a little think. I said, is it more correct to trade and then play f6? Or should I play f6 and then trade? And I thought that playing f6 was better, because if he doesn't trade, eventually I'll always be able to do it. He can't like really go anywhere. He's not like living. If he ever does move it out to b5, which was a move I was kind of worried about because it would give some access, like jumps to his knight. But if my knight is on f6, it's also taking away the square, as is my queen. So I would just be able to play a6 and kind of eject his bishop, and he would have lost a move for nothing. And I did think a6 was an improving move for my position, so I was kind of trying to induce him to sort of come in there. I told him after the game that I did think that his bishop initially should have been on b5. I think I mentioned something like that to bear down with these with these knight jumps, but it's all moot. It doesn't really matter. So yeah, once he plays bishop to d3, I do the think. It looks like those are the two clear plans in the position. It looks like I chose wrong. Trading is slightly better, but I thought I should move my knight here. We trade, I move here, and then I play f6, and like I'm just better. So I was happy. He does a mini think, plays one of the better moves, bishop e3. He's just trying to get it off his opening square, and Justin has now finally, 13 moves in, he is officially developed. I would say that that's fine. I concur. He is developed. And I thought, now, am I supposed to trade and then just jump in? Or can I play an improving move? And I said, what are my improving moves? I said a6 an improving move. Look at that, it's on the computer. I said rook c8 is an improving move. That's according to the computer. And I thought queen c7 was an improving move. The idea is long-term gunning down on the h2 square. So those were the moves I was thinking about, as well as trading. Now, they're all pretty equal, so I'm glad I didn't spend 10 minutes on moves where the difference is like 0.1. And I said, nah, I don't really need to bust a move here. I don't need to like force it. And I played a6. I told you guys I was playing some prophylactic, some nice moves, some different ideas. Computer likes it. It's excellent. Again, just trying to like narrow scope. Just maybe threaten b5 at some point. Take whatever space on the queen side I can. I'm in no rush to trade, because as soon as he does, I gobble, and then I push f6, and I feel like I'm ejecting his knight, and I would then have the spatial advantage as well as the good knight, blah, 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 blah. You all can see that. That's the theme of this game, by the way, so that's why I keep repeating it, because I wasn't doing like deep thoughts about other stuff. I was kind of just trying to beat the iron drum with that idea. Unfortunately for Justin, we reached this position. I had spent a good amount more time than him because I did that deep think of like 15 minutes, and all my other moves like 10 minutes before that. So it's like 13 moves in. I've used like 30 minutes. He's used maybe 10 minutes at most. And he slams knight g4. And you guys can tell by the evaluation bar. Hopefully you guys take the time to look at yourself. And as soon as he slams this, it was a move I was funny, like I'm not lying. It's a move I thought that he might play, and I knew it lost immediately. Normally when somebody plays what you think is a blunder, you spend a good amount of time, but I spent like 3 minutes, and I just knew this was no good. And the reason why, it's a simple tactic. You can take a moment to think about why this is a game-losing move, but the reason why is this queen, and this is not a concept that you get to employ that much, is doing something known as it's overworked. It's defending the queen, and it's defending the knight. So if you take away one piece, it cannot defend both. Unfortunately, if you take the bishop first, he has the in-between move of knight takes knight, check! And I would take back, and then he'd be able to take with the queen, and he would not lose any material. Unfortunately, I found, not that hard to find, it's not like I'm patting myself on the back, knight takes knight. And the reason I had to calculate just for a moment, as I said, all right, if I go knight takes knight, he's overworked. If he takes my bishop, well, then I go knight takes on e3, and I'd be forking him. He'd lose another material. And if he takes, then it's the same. And if he takes here, the queen takes on g4. It's the same deal. Well, then I would just take on d3. I'd be up a clear piece, and I'd actually even be still attacking a rook there. And, I mean, I spent 30 plus minutes, maybe 35. He spent 10 or so. The first thought was, damn, this game's over. I normally meet up with my fiancée, Lizzie, after work. She doesn't get out of work till 10:30. What the hell am I supposed to do for the next hour or two? But Justin finally uses a lot of time, and you know he knows that like the game is over here. But he plays on, and I can't blame him. But he's down, unfortunately, a clear piece for nothing. Clear piece for nothing. According to the computer, the best move is for him to go bishop takes on e4. I didn't think that was the best move. I thought that he needs to take this knight because I thought this fork was just nasty as well. But he plays neither of those, and I think it's because he's just trying to keep peace on the board now that he's down that. And he plays bishop c1. And again, I shouldn't do the, well, he probably should have resigned here because, like, no, it's a game. He has every right to play on longer. But I did get to this position, and at this point I kind of turned my brain off. Computer has me as almost -5. That's a huge advantage. I should probably really, really iron down, really try to like just win, but I kind of turned my... And I don't even think I made it that interesting. You guys will see how I won this game. Clearly, when I'm -5, I'm going to win this game. But I did kind of fall in the trap of just assuming the game is over because it's not like Justin's a grandma. I think Justin's pretty good, obviously, but like, look, if he was a GM, the GM would still probably beat me at a -5 position. If he was an NM, sorry, I'm beating an NM from this position. Actually, that's not necessarily true, but I would bet on myself in a -5 position against NM. I would say that much. I would not bet on myself against a GM. That's for fucking sure. But I mean, this is just super winning. And the reason why, just like from my positional ideas, I guess I may as well go over it. Yes, I have the piece, but also I have the space. His pawns are worse. I have more active pieces as well. And I have the outpost. So, like, positionally, it's not even just that he's down the piece. Every other factor, his king is less safe than mine. My piece is more active. He's got, like, the rook in the corner that's kind of stuck by the bishop. Just everything points to this is just super winning for black. So, I don't need to, like, pat myself on the back too much. He just blundered. Just was saying that he was tired. I thought I was playing a pretty good game up to this point anyway. But I'll show you how the rest of the game goes. Now, for the record... When he plays back, I did at least do... oh, look, the move I wanted to play was the best move. I did a heavy calculation. I calculated queen h4. Obviously, you're threatening mate. You're taking away the square 2. His only defense is h3, because otherwise you just mate him. And he's then also attacking my knight. The problem is I didn't see the follow-up in that position. I wasn't sure if it was good that my queen was here. Like, if I just then go back with my knight, for example... if I've accomplished anything. In fact, if anything, I thought that maybe there'd be a line where my queen would get stuck there. Like, yes, I have a lot of pressure. It's a mating idea, but I wasn't sure. So I did spend a while calculating, trying to find a good follow-up in that position. And after about, I probably spent 10 minutes in this position, thinking as well that maybe if I spend long enough thinking, he's just going to just resign because he doesn't want to like sit in this position anymore. I eventually just play bishop takes d3, and the reason why is I thought if I just nullify material, it's very, very winning. For the record, I'm gonna just show you guys my calculation, the sideline. Because this is what I kept calculating. I kept calculating queen h4. Obviously, h3 is forced, and I was trying to think what I needed to do here. And I know I don't unfortunately have this move of knight to e3, which is what I want to play. Obviously, forking and potentially attacking the g2 square because he moved his bishop back. So I wasn't really sure where this belonged. The computer cooks up a very clever idea of queen g3, immediately threatening mate. And it looks like the reason why this is so winning, the computer says that well, is this even so good for me? I don't understand. Like, I didn't see this at all. Because if he takes here, oh, we just say, screw it, a piece for a piece. Okay, that's actually hard to, well, it's not hard to find that, but I didn't think that was that great for me either. You know what I mean? Like, okay, cool, I can just make the trade anyway without, like, this fanciness. Anyway, I was looking at this position, and everything, knight f6 is what I came up with. And this is what I kept seeing. And I kept thinking, is it better to have my queen on the outside here, or is it better to have it on this diagonal kind of behind this bishop? And I thought the latter. I thought the latter was slightly better for me. So that's why I trade, because I thought that I could always reroute, stick the knight on e4, and I'd just be super winning. And it looks like both variations are like minus 4.7, so it looks like I didn't really even make necessarily like the wrong choice. But that is what I spent a lot of time really thinking. Because I thought if I could find the win, then that's awesome. You know what I mean? If I could find the win there, then like that's awesome. Like then I'm in great shape. You know. According to the computer, he should be playing queen takes on d3, and according to the sheet, he plays queen takes d3. Obviously, the other move would be to take here, but then I would take the rook. So of course he's going to take the bishop. I just stick to the natural idea, and it does seem to be pretty much the best move. I still thought that I had these moves of bringing my queen to h4. It's still good. They're basically equal. And I did wonder when I got to this position. I recalculated for a moment if this changed anything based on the bishop for the bishop. And I thought no. So I just decided I would just bring it back, still kind of expecting that like I would have an easy win here with like no risk, you know. However, I will say this wasn't the easiest win. I feel like I made a mistake coming up, but we'll let the computer decide, because maybe I played a good game. Maybe your hero actually played a good game. It's possible. It's been known to happen every once in a while. Anyway, Justin plays rook f3, and it's pretty clear he's kind of got to just jerk it. He's got to yank it. He's got to go all in. He's looking to rook lift and get some kind of activity, whether it's over here or over here. It's kind of a Hail Mary, just send all his pieces at me and maybe he can muck up the waters. But as soon as he plays rook to f3, I kind of like shrug. The computer wants me to go rook c8. It's a move I kept thinking about playing. I didn't think it was great here. I didn't really spend too long in this spot because I thought it would be too slow for me to go b5, b4. And because this is such a strong pawn chain, I'm not really threatening to move it on in there. Although I do need to get that piece in the game, or at least I ought to get the piece in the game. They also like queen d7. I'm not exactly sure why, like what we have in mind there. Maybe infiltrating this way or something, I guess. But I thought that it's basically the same move. The natural move is just, again, knight e4. Again, he has no pawn, he has no light square bishop, he has no horsey. This knight is as strong as a rook. It has a very strong outpost. He isn't even threatening c4 because I can just recapture it. So I thought that it just made sense to reorient my pieces on the center of the board where they control the most number of squares, and eventually again play for like f6, e5 or something. That's kind of what I was going for. Maybe not here, mind you, but yeah, that's kind of what I was going for here. Anyway, after knight e4, Justin plays f5, which is wild. And it's funny, the computer says to take. I didn't take because I calculated take, and in this line he's attacking the d5 pawn. Maybe it's not that scary because I have this bishop check takes, and it kind of uncorks on the rook. But I thought that this was so strong, just keeping it here, that I could keep the pieces chilled. I also was calculating if he goes f6, and I thought, all right, I always just have knight takes, right? And if he ever sacrifices, that's fine. I can just take a queen takes. And then I thought, wow, if he ever pushes, I also can just go f takes, rather g takes f6. And I thought that was pretty good because I'm basically preventing his queen from ever targeting the h7 square, once again, with this knight, which is like the hero of the game. So I thought that I should actually ignore it. I thought f5 wasn't that scary, and I thought attacking it and kind of giving him some activity would maybe be a bit of a headache, a bit of a complicating move for me. So I play queen c7, which the computer, I guess, not the greatest move in this position, but it's still excellent. Okay. My thinking is I'm getting this off the opening square. I am technically threatening the h2 pawn with check. I thought that maybe I could put the queen in front, but he always has this move of moving bishop f4. So I thought I should just go here, and again, if he slams f6, I really wasn't all that concerned. So, all right. It's pretty fun. I thought, again, at any point, I should just be winning. Like, resign. Justin slams f6. He's like full on aggro. Can't blame him. And I did a deep calculation here. So this is another spot. I spent 10 more minutes. And I said, all right, if I go queen takes here, he can sacrifice. I go up. Is there anything? Not really, because I'm taking that square away. What about down here? No, not really. But I thought that was the one spot where maybe there could be some fuckery with like bringing the bishop down. Maybe he looks for some kind of like random mate or so. Again, I thought I was so winning, I didn't need to deal with that. So I didn't love knight takes. I thought I could ignore it if he takes, and I could just do something completely weird, like rook c8. I thought was still winning. And then I thought to myself, wait, I am attacking this pawn. Like, why don't I just take it? And I thought, all right, if he's trying to bear down on the g file, if I take that pawn, I had 1, 2, 3 sort of defending it. He'd only have one piece kind of defending this push. I would take that away forever. I also thought, all right, if he moves over, long term, I have this interesting fork on f2 where the knight ends the game by winning the queen, so I can never dislodge his rook. And if he moves in, well, then I could just drop back, or I could just then take, and, again, I'm just up another pawn, I'm just kind of gobbling everything. So I thought that was the best line. So I go g takes. No fear, bishop takes h2. In retrospect, I think that this was actually a little bit greedy. It was unnecessary. But he plays king h1. And, now I have to decide. Apparently I should have just dropped the bishop back. I took the pawn, I should drop it back. But I play g takes f6, which I think is a quality move. And my thinking here was I have a very strong center. This knight ain't going anywhere. And I just thought that, like, all is good. If I really need to, I can swing my knight to g5, attacking the rook, also taking care of the h7 square. Not here, because, mind you, it would leave this pawn hanging. But I thought if I could do something like, push like an f5, kind of get my rook in the game, blah, 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 blah. Again, somewhat checked out, just thinking, kind of playing on instinct and kind of doing a few of these calculations, thinking that the game should be over, wondering if I ever have, like, knight checks on g3, and then he takes, and then wondering if, like, again, that opens up any discoveries. I didn't see any, but I was calculating them just to see if there were any kind of clever and cool tactics which would end the game. But I also didn't want to get too tricky, because I thought I'm up a full piece and some pawns. Why muck this up? Why make it, more challenging? Anyway, Justin, to his credit, plays bishop h6, which is the best move in the position, and unfortunately, we arrive at this spot, and I'm like, fucking shit, man. I do another thing. So I spend 15 minutes in this position, and I say to myself, did I get my piece stuck? Am I losing the rook? Oh my god, does he have pressure on me? Am I super winning anymore? And I couldn't tell. I made peace in this position that I was going to give up the rook, thinking that if he trades off his only active piece, I still am up material, and his king is unsafe, I should be fine. Like, if I do something random, and I will do something random, you'll see in a moment, and if he takes, I could even take with the king, I can then hide on e7, open up my rook on g8, and I won't be up like a million material, but I'll still be up a lot of material, and I'll have like total safety. His squares are taking care of everything. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Unfortunately, I probably should have found king h8, which is a move I was thinking about playing, to be completely honest. They also and I was considering... I was looking at bishop g8 with the idea then it opens, because... Okay, I'll show you what I played first. I played f5. I'll tell you why I played f5 in a moment. The computer doesn't think it's bad, but the move I kept calculating was bishop g3. And the reason why is I thought, if he... Well, it takes on f6. Interesting. Interesting. I wasn't even considering him take. Okay, the computer doesn't think it's good anymore. And I thought if he took on f8, then what I was going to do is I was going to check him. He would take. I would take. And then they like f3. And then I would take. This is what I calculated. This is not good for me. This is what I calculated. This is barely winning for me. Okay. Well, I'm glad I didn't go into that, for the record. I'm glad I didn't go into that, because I was calculating that. I was like, that maybe is not great. But I kept really trying to make this knight fork happen. You know, happen. All right, that still would be better for black, but it wouldn't be like winning anymore. So I was thinking about that move. I was thinking about king h8, I guess, a little bit. I thought that basically he would just take here. I would take, and you know, I don't know. I thought I was kind of mucking it up a little bit here. It looks like this is still super winning. What else was I calculating here? Oh yeah, and the move I played, f5, is my idea was again giving up the bishop. F5 with the idea of f6, so I could run with my king, or potentially get my king onto f7, so I have this sneaky move of moving it to h5, where I saw in various lines I'd obviously have this check, and I'd be attacking multiple pieces. So I kind of was trying to play on the h file. So that's kind of the idea for why I thought I had to play f5 so that I could play f6. Anyway, yeah, so that happens. I play f5. So there you go. That's why. I thought I was taking away the g square, because 1, 2, 3. Yes, if he trades, I take, I move here, boom, I have an active rook. Still fine, but I did think I kind of messed this up a little bit. The computer doesn't think I'm messing it up really that much, which I'm happy about, but all right. Anyway, Justin, in this position, once I play f5, what? We're on move 21. Yes, once I play f5, he now plays g3. And I go into a deep tank, because initially I thought that he wasn't able to play this. I thought I could just take, but then I saw, and I started calculating, I got very worried. I saw takes, rook to g1. And I thought, maybe that's not so good for me. And I got worried. I saw also bishop takes, rook takes, knight takes, and same deal. Rook sliding to g1. I also saw bishop takes, pinning me, and then, and I guess I should have found the very important king h8. I thought that he would then have this move with bishop f4, and my bishop would be pinned by the rook, so he'd actually be attacking my queen, preventing me from kind of ganging up, and he'd win a piece back. And I thought if he ever had this rook here, and I took for the open rook, he'd have this clever move, especially without a pawn here, where then I basically would have my king in the corner, maybe even this check, kind of these windmills or so, and I got very, very worried that I would actually even be losing. So yeah, when he plays g3, I looked through all the variations of me taking, and I thought that I was lost, actually, if I took, like with the rook swinging in, getting all his pieces in, simply allowing this bishop to h6. So it's not lost according to the computer, but I panicked a little bit. Because my mind had to click back on. I went from this game is over to, oh boy, maybe this game is not over. And then I said, all right, if I give him back the bishop, if I don't take the pawn, is that so bad? And I thought to myself, no. And the reason why is if I play f6, which is what I played, by the way, which is not a bad move, it's the 4th best move. I thought if I play f6, he can take my bishop, okay? You know, whatever. I can save my rook. And then basically I'm running with my king. And I thought in that position, I still have a freaking strong-ass knight. Super pawns because they're on the light square, so his bishop sucks. And I'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 against 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up 2 clear pawns where I still have a bit of a space advantage. And I thought to myself, all right, yes, maybe I'm not super winning up the pieces and stuff, but it'd still be up 2 pawns. I have the better position. My king would still be safe, and his king is exposed. Fuck it. Let's just give him back the bishop. So I stopped trying to save it. I stopped trying to salvage it. The computer really likes ducking the king to h8, which is really what I should have found and should have done. But, you know, c'est la vie. So instead, once he plays g3, I played rook fc8 first, excuse me, which they like. That's equal to f6. All right. The thinking is, all right, I'll give back the bishop, but I'll save my rook. It is what it is. And they give me an inaccuracy. I'm not surprised. My idea was I was bailing out. I kind of roughed it up and messed up. He obviously goes king takes. But now I'm actually getting, and now I do play the best move, f6. Now I'm at least re-coordinating my pieces. Still up 2 pawns, which, by the way, is minus 3.3, just because of how strong my knight is relative. Like, my minor piece is much better than his. And I still have, like, these ideas, or ducking in and moving my rook behind on g8. But I felt a little bit mad at myself that I kind of, like, slipped up a little bit. It looks like I still could have taken that pawn, according to the computer. I didn't see the variation out fully. Let me show you one more time what I was so worried about. I was worried about bishop takes, rook g1, and I needed to find this very important move, king g8. But I was very worried there. If he owned the file, he'd have these checks and possibly possibly going to make it. I thought I was unsafe on h8. I did look at king h8 for the record. I would have played something like this, and computer still says this is good for me, but I was not comfortable. And for the record, I needed to find this because this is the position, by the way, that I was worried about for the record, because I saw if I moved here, he'd have this move and I'd be losing my queen. Again, I would have to find king h8. For the record, that's what I saw. Like, I was very worried about this stuff, and that's why I said, oh my god, I can't play bishop takes. I cannot give him this file, let him get his activity with his rook. So that's why I didn't go into it. Because I saw the alternative, which is still a very easy, simple position up to clear pawns. So there you go. That's the explanation. Anyway, I play f6. It looks like it is the best move. Justin plays bishop f4. Not surprising. He's kind of anchoring the g-pawn. He's also attacking the queen. I think it's a good move. He's kind of getting it out of dodge. He's no longer doing anything because I have a square that I can run with. And I'm going to like reorient my pieces. So I first think to myself, fucking hell, man, I've butchered this a little bit. I play queen c4. A, it's restricting his pawns. But B, I'm threatening to trade. And if we trade, this is a simple endgame for me to win. I thought to myself, all right, I've screwed it up, but if we trade queens, I have more active king, very active pieces, the same 2 pawns, blah, 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 blah. He doesn't have any targets with his bishop. I can move it in, and I would win pretty easily, or mostly pretty easily. I thought that was a pretty easy win. So, of course, Justin doesn't comply. He doesn't go into that with me. He instead moves his queen back. He goes queen e3, maintaining it on. I think it's the right practical decision. The computer doesn't think it's the best strategic decision, but understandably. At this point, I play the best move. I say, all right, I can finally move my king off the square. I can protect these pawns, and I can get my rooks finally into the game. Let's go king f7. Took me long enough to kind of activate it. And the truth is, Justin's really squeezed. He does not have a lot of moves. They're suggesting g4, which is a move that I thought he should play, just to try to open up towards my king at all. I also thought he should just get the other rook into the game. It doesn't work here because I'm attacking the pawn. And so I think that's why he plays a3, which I thought was a bad move. Now, I did see something kind of funny. I was considering playing in this position, queen to b3. Obviously, I'm threatening takes the b-pawn, and then I would win the rook. He can't move the rook here because then I'd win it. He can't move the rook there because I'd have this check and then just take it. But I saw that if I move my queen to b3, I would actually allow him to move his queen to e2. Not only would it be defending that pawn, but he'd be re-controlling this diagonal, and I didn't love that. The computer actually recommends queen b5, kind of maintaining this diagonal and still pressuring the pawn. I saw that, but I thought that then he could maybe play b4 with the idea of locking up the position. So I did see that. I guess I didn't know if it was better. Instead, I go for what I think is a very clear plan. It's basically just as good. I play rook g8, and my idea was I can gang up everything on the g-pawn. I can play h5, h4, and I can just win. He's stuck. He has no space to go. If we trade off everything, I would then have e5, and then basically I'd have the connected pawns down the center of the board. That would be an easy win in that case. So I said, you know what, screw it. Let's just go simple chess. he plays rook g1, finally getting this piece involved in the game. I opt to shut down any counterplay. I play, the best move. Rook g4. I don't want him to launch his pawn forward now. I thought the only active move he has is actually bishop h6. And at this point, he spent a little bit more time, and Justin was kind of like, doesn't have a lot of moves, to be completely honest. And he plays rook g2, because, what the hell else is he going to do in this position? I probably should have played h5 in this position to prevent him from blocking with the bishop, to be honest. But I play the next best move, rook a to g8. It made sense. I'm just trying to gun everything onto g3. Yeah, he should have gone bishop to h6. I thought he should have gone that anyway. And I realized I actually should have played h5 in the previous position. But, I kind of shrugged. I was like, whatever. He plays queen e1, trying to defend this square, trying to prevent me from getting my pieces involved. Trying to prevent me from infiltrating with my queen, specifically. And I just kind of shake my shoulders. I play h5, and I have a pretty obvious plan. I'm going to jam this h-pawn down, and good luck stopping it. Potentially there'll be some mates, because his king is stuck here. And maybe eventually he'll, open up where I can move my queen in. And maybe he'll blunder a fork. Maybe I'll have f4 at the right moment. Who knows? I didn't know. All I knew is worst case I was trading everything off on g3, and that endgame was super winning. And I thought, well, I push it. Maybe I'll find a tactical win as well. Kind of the cherry on top. Anyway, I play h5. He plays rook e2 at this point. Just does not have a lot of moves. He has to defend everything. He's completely passive. I thought maybe I should play my pawns up and kind of get them in a more attractive position if I traded everything. But then I just shake my head and I say, fuck it. This is probably the right move. I play h4. He plays rook e on 2 to 3, which I guess is the best move. Rook e e3. And I look at this and I say to myself, okay, pawn takes has to be winning. And I go pawn takes, and Justin spends 15 minutes here trying to find any defense. I don't think there really is a defense. You guys can see a million tactical wins, because there really isn't much that Justin can do. I mean, the game's kind of over at this point, to be completely honest. But he tries, what does he try? He tries move 32, rook takes. Oh, he tried rook takes, g3. And I shrugged and I said, all right, I'm assuming this is undefended. If he takes, I just take, and he doesn't have these checks. If he checks there, I just move back with the rook. It's supported by the pawn. If he goes there, it's taken away by my knight. So that's what happens. I just shrug. I take the bishop. I think to myself, maybe there's a mate I missed. I never know in these spots, but this is 100% winning. Justin plays one more move. He plays rook takes on g8. I go king takes on g8. He looks at the position. It's completely over. I will infiltrate, maybe like this. He can't even go anywhere because my knight and my rook are actually doing a great job of denying everything. If he moved over here, I would just block. And he can't even play here because, boom, I then take with the knight. Justin resigns in this position. So, for the record, I did say to him, I thought that if he rather than taking with the rook, I thought he should take with the bishop. And I didn't see, to be completely honest, I didn't see the immediate win. He said he thought that I had f4 here, which looks pretty good, not gonna lie. And obviously this doesn't work because of h8. I didn't see this. He thought that that was just winning. I thought against this, and obviously I would look, f4 is pretty good. They're even calling for some b5 ideas. For the record, I did think I could trade everything off here. So I'm just going to show you the sample line. He thought that this was bad, but I thought that this was simply winning as well, to be completely honest. So that's why I thought that this was fine. And it looks like the computer agrees. I thought that this was very simple to win this, basically. This is what I saw. I told him this is what I saw, for the record. Yeah, in this position. And the reason why, he thought this was bad, but I thought that I basically was winning this 100% of the time. Because these pawns are unstoppable. I basically just push them. You know, if he tries to like push, for example, it doesn't matter. I can just I can just play this even. And I'm taking away every square, and I just push. And again, the pawns are unstoppable. So that's what I saw, like rather than the tactical win. That's like the main reason I went into it, because I saw the end game. I saw I could trade everything off, and I thought maybe as well I had a tactical win. However, he plays over here. I take it. I'm up the piece, and that's all she wrote. All right, an hour long. Let's do our thing and save this. Add to game collection. We're gonna add this to the November Swiss. It's the third round. So I'm now 1.5. The bookmakers say I'm going to play Arya next week. I was supposed to play him this week. We'll see if they swap it up on us or not. We'll see. I'm probably not going to do any prep because they'll probably swap it again. Severin Conan, the guy I played last week, won again. Not surprising. He's going to win the section for sure. Nice. Haley won. Who did she beat? Or did she win? Who did she beat? Haley drew 7. Arya. Oh, Haley drew Arya. Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh, excuse me. Round 3. Arya played Jamie. Jamie's getting his ass kicked in this section. I like Jamie. He's the guy I chat with probably most before a game. Nice dude. But he's definitely getting his ass beaten in the U1900s. Anyway, then Arya played him. It looks like Haley beat beat Daniel Paley. Still never had the opportunity to play Daniel Paley yet. Anyway, so my overall thoughts. Let's do the game review. I think I played a pretty good game, to be honest. 90%. Granted, Justin blundered. He had like the one massive blunder. I didn't really have any brilliance. I guess I had a great move. Cool. I think I played pretty well today. Justin played this E3 opening on move 1. It looks like we both kind of played fine, all things considered, in the opening. He just had that big blunder. Once he blundered, my technique was not flawless. I kind of let him back in the game a little bit here. This is where I got the bishop trapped. It was still winning, but I did kind of put it away. I think over here, I just thought that the game was basically over. I was kind of checked out. Again, almost 91% is great. I'm very happy about it. I think this game had more to do with Justin blundering. If he didn't play that one, we would be in a very, black would be slightly better, and I'd be feeling pretty good, but it clearly could have been anyone's game. But I think that's my overall thoughts about Justin. I think he plays way too fast. He squandered a one position against Arya. I remember this was a few weeks back. And I think other people who have played him kind of say the same thing. He just plays too fast. He's clearly a good player, and his instincts are generally good, but even that tactic, like blundering it to me, he just was so intent on playing so fast in the opening that he just played a terrible move, like one that if you do a blunder check, you wouldn't play. All right, I'm going to sign off here. Again, there probably wasn't that much analysis because once he blundered, I thought the game was over. He made it slightly interesting with like the pawn pushes. I wasn't super accurate, but again, I played a pretty good game. All right, I'm going to cut the video here. Have a good one. Next week, I think actually looking at this, there's a chance wait, this says 1.5. I have 1.5 points. If I finish on 2.5 points, I probably can't win any. Yeah, I can't win any money. All right, too bad. The loss just takes you out of it. Takes you out of the equation. All right, well, you try your best. Maybe I'll change the power ranking. You know what, Justin? Sorry, buddy. Bumping you down in the power rankings. I'll update those later. All right, maybe I will post that video because it was kind of a funny one. It was like 20 minutes of me just spending like not even a minute talking about each opponent, about them. Yeah, maybe it's worth posting. I don't know. All right, peace out, everybody.